What's up, YouTube? PokePrimer here. Brian, ready to deliver you week 2 of the NPBF Season 17. Back once again, and not off to a great start, ladies and gentlemen. Not off to a great start. We got absolutely smacked around week 1. Alex smacked the crap out of us. It was not a good week for us. Definitely found a lot of holes in my team that I was not a fan of. Y'all saw the video that went up on Wednesday talking about all of that, making those switches. A couple of those homies will be popping into this video, this here match. So hopefully they will be able to effectively change the game. Excuse me, change the game for us in this matchup, and we'll be able to put in a lot of work against Anthony and his Chicago Blizzards. And, oh, God, we're not off to a great start, ladies and gentlemen. I am kicking myself slightly allowing this Mon for this season, a little bit, mostly because I just don't want to face it, if I'm being honest. Do I think it's totally broken when it comes to, like, a draft situation? No, because it only does, like, one thing, pretty much at all. But at the same time, it does that one thing better than most other Mons in the universe could. So, you can see his roster on the screen. We have the Iron Bundle, Pawmot, Clodsire, Bronzong, Talonflame, Flapple, Kamala, Quillfish, Sableye, and Oranguru. His Terra types are Fairy, Ghost, Steel, and Water, so those Terra types can be used with Sableye, with Oranguru, with the with Oranguru, Sableye, Quillfish, and Kamala. Any of those can Terra into those possible types, which is very interesting. One other note that is important is in regards to Pawmot. We did ban the move Revival Blessing. We felt like that move was just stupid and shouldn't be allowed in draft format. So we decided that Revival Blessing was a hard no-go. So Pawmot cannot use Revival Blessing. So that's good to know. If I kill something in this game, it is staying dead, which is great. So, yeah, looking at this team, Iron Bundle, obvious, like, massive issue. Clearly, it is just it's a problem. This Mon is a 100% problem. It hits so hard. It's a monstrous beast. Gonna be a huge pain to deal with. Had to tech a bunch of different stuff to try to make something happen here. Hopefully, one of the things we teched on here will be effective enough to get rid of it. He has got a bunch of really solid walls. Clodsire, Bronzong work really, really well together. Like, they pair beautifully as a defensive core for this team, so it's going to be a huge pain in the butt, especially the Clodsire, because it can just run unaware. So it's not like I can, like, boost up and beat over them. Kamala is also fairly bulky, and the Intimidate with Quillfish is going to be a huge nuisance. And Sableye with all of his prankster nonsense. Although, I do have a Mon that literally, like, kind of ignores anything Sableye wants to do ever, which is hilarious with Garganical. Garganical just doesn't care about Sableye. Just ignores one of its stabs and simultaneously, like, can't be burned or anything that Sableye wants to do prankster-wise to it, which is kind of hilarious. Like, okay, you can do prankster stuff, but, like, none of the prankster stuff that Sableye wants to do to Garganical, Garganical cares about, realistically, so that's cool. But he's got a really defensive team with some really solid hitters, like Iron Bundle and Pawmot, as well as, like, the Flapple. Flapple can be a hard-hitting monster as well, if it wants to. If it wants to land its attacks, that is. If it lands its attacks, it's a beast. But, you know, you gotta get past that 80 accuracy that everything has with Hustle. If he decides not to run Hustle, that's good on him. I mean, I've run it without Hustle plenty of times, and it's done plenty of work for me as well. So I think it'll be very interesting to see if the Flapple makes an appearance. But, yeah, let's go ahead and get into what we're bringing here. It's a tough matchup, but we'll do our best. We have Quetzal the Garganical here, with the Pasho Berry, Purifying Salt, of course, for the ability, because why would I not? We're fully especially defensive with the Pasho. Iron Defense, Body Press, Salt Cure, and Recover. Recover, obviously, we're just trying to live. We're trying to live, man. We're just trying to survive out here. Vibe out here. Keep this thing alive as long as we can. With the Pasho Berry, we can tank a Choice Specs Hydro Pump from Iron Bundle and hit it back with a Body Press. Preferably, hit it back with a Body Press after we've gone to +2 with our Iron Defense. That'd be the best case scenario if we can get to +2 before Iron Bundle gets in against us, and we can tank the Hydro Pump, smack him like with our giant brick wall looking self, and get rid of that thing ASAP. Iron Defense is just also going to be really good here against a lot of things like Bronzong. Bronzong just won't be able to break us at all. It has like no way of breaking through us. It'll help us deal with things like Talonflame, Palmot, Flapple, Kamala, Quill. This helps deal with like 90% of his team. Most of his team is incredibly physically offensive, which makes Iron Defense Gargantual insane. If we can get rid of Iron Bundle, this thing gets up at Iron Defense and just kind of messes him up, and I love that. So, fingers crossed Gargantual works well for us in this one. We also have the Salt Cure as well. If we can land a Salt Cure on Iron Bundle, that'd be really great because we get that 25% extra off on it. This will also work well against the Bronzong. We get Salt Cure that, get 25% every turn, and that's just insane damage. Especially because that's something we can Iron Defense up in front of very easily, which is great. So yeah, Gargantual has actually a lot of potential this week. Much more potential this week to do work than it did last week. So hopefully it will shine for us. And so we have Ariana Grande, our Screamtail, with the leftovers. Photosynthesis, of course. Wish, Psyshock, Dazzling Gleam, and Stealth Rock. No setup move this week. We're just kind of... This thing's meant for chip damage. This thing's meant to get up rocks. This thing's meant to pass wishes. Specifically also to, like, Gargantual. I want this thing to be able to pass a wish to Gargantual after it's taken out the Palmot. Or not the Palmot, the Iron Bundle. Because I do think that there's a possibility of something we can very easily do. The dual stab of Psyshock, Dazzling Gleam hits everything pretty good. I think. Gleam is better for the Bundle because Bundle has lower Spit Def than Fizz Def, so that will be better to hit that thing with. His hazard removal, I believe, does Talonflame still get hazard removal? Does Talonflame still get defog in this generation? I can't remember. I cannot remember to save my life. I'm going to see a little bit of what Talonflame. Talonflame does get defog in this gen. Okay, so that's kind of cool. So he's got like defog Talonflame or like Rapid Spin on Kamala. Nothing too crazy as far as hazard removal. So if we can get our rocks up, we can probably get some good chip damage going against this team, which is also nice. Yeah, this thing's just here to Wish Pass and be bulky. Went with like a more Fizz Def set. And ran enough speed to outpace the Palmot, because we can also threaten that thing offensively, even though we're not super strong. Doesn't matter, because Palmot is a small boy who does not appreciate super effective hits very well. He's very squishy. So yeah, that's our Screamtail. Screamtail is hopefully going to put in some work here. We have Kaminari, our Kilowattrel. Running Choice Specs Kilowattrel with the Volt Absorb. This kind of gives us a better situation against the Palmot. Kind of like hard wall Palmot dual stabs, which is amazing. We're running max special attack with a modest nature, 216 speed, so we can outpace the Palmot, and then 40 into HP. This thing just kind of comes in on the Palmot and laughs in its face. Volt Switch, Thunderbolt, Hurricane, U-Turn. We have U-Turn specifically because Clodsire is here. Clodsire is such an easy switch into this thing every single time. Like, we're going to scout earlier on in the matchup, early in the matchup, we'll probably click Hurricane once or twice when Kilowattrel's in, just to kind of make sure that like that's his go-to. And then once we know that for certain, we'll reveal the U-turn later on to keep up the momentum and put us in a better situation, keep us in a better state of mind on the board for the matchup. There's also the chance that Hurricane can get some confusions on the Clodsire as well, so that potentially keep us in a form of positive, in a positive situation on the board against his team. So potentially that could be something good for us. Next up, I mean, this set's pretty straightforward. It hits like a truck against his team. He doesn't really have a lot of great switch-ins. Like, once Clodsire goes down, Hurricane just kind of rips a hole through something. Hurricane or Thunderbolt if he's not running Volt Absorb on his Pawmot, which I don't think he would. I think he would run Iron Fist on Pawmot here. I think that makes sense for the matchup. Yeah, interesting. Next we have False Flora, the Lurantis, with the Citrus Berry, Contrary, Leaf Storm, Terra Blast, Synthesis, and Giga Drain, with the Ghost Terra. This thing is dependent on us getting rid of Clodsire, which we do have plenty of ways of doing. Its Fizdef is super weak, so we're going to try to have to beat it down that way, between like getting Psyshocks off on it with Scream Tail, potentially just breaking through it with Salt Cure, Body Press, chip damage with Garganical, and then our last two mons also have good chances of being able to break it. But if this thing gets going in the late game, it's game over. Because he has 3 resists, 2 grass on his team. That is the Bronzong, the Talonflame, and the Flapple. Flapple being a 4 times. Flapple and Talonflame being 4 times resists. They are also not particularly bulky Pokemon, right? Get Leaf Storm off, get to +2, right? We're just overall really bulky. We're just sitting here being bulky as heck. Get the Leaf Storm off, we're really bulky. Goes into one of those mons. Then we Terrastallize into Ghost. We are no longer weak to Talonflame. We are no longer... like, Flapple will still hit us for neutral damage, probably with the Dragon move, if it hits us at all. Which I doubt. And Bronzong is still slower than us, so it doesn't matter. And we Terra into Ghost, we click Terra Blast, we nuke the mon that's in front of us, and then nothing else on the team can really touch us. We're no longer weak to Iron Bundles, Freeze Dries, or Blizzards, so that's not a threat. We're no longer weak to Poison Moves from Coolfish, we actually resist those, so that's fine, we can just Leaf Storm on its face. It's a really solid situation. We don't have to worry too much about Sableye, because Sableye honestly doesn't threaten us. Like, it could maybe burn us, but what does it matter? And it can't knock off on us, because I don't think it'll be speed invested. And and we'll be able to outpace it, since we ran the 44 speed here to outpace it by 1 point. It's not invested, which is great. And we'll just be able to beat down this team. Like, get some Leaf Storms going, be bulky as heck. We are very bulky. Max HP, 88 defense, 124 SPDF, Calm Nature. Like, we're incredibly bulky set up here, and we are going to do a lot of damage. We also have the Giga Drain, too. Giga Drain and Synthesis is forms of recovery. There might be times I don't need to click Terra Blast or Leaf Storm to kill something. If I can click Giga Drain to kill it, I'm going to go for the Giga Drain, so that way I can better deal with that situation. I can get the health back and just continue to be a menace on the board. I'm actually really excited for this set. I think this set has a lot of potential to do well here, so shout out to Lurantis for actually potentially showing up to a game. Woohoo! I guess I have another one of our new mons. We have Hasta La Vistar, the Revavroom, with the Air Balloon filter, and I have no EVs on this thing. I forgot to EV this mon. Oh my god. We're going to do that live. You're going to see how I do my EV spreads. First things first. Do I think he'd be Scarf Iron Bundle? I don't think so. He could be. I don't think he'd be Scarf Talonflame. Next fastest one on his team would be Pawmot. Pawmot. Can I get Pawmot to work, please? Offensive. 508 is what we need to cover. So we need to hit 255. 255 doubled after shift gear. That takes us to 510. So that puts us over what Pawmot would do. We'll throw the rest into attack. We'll max out our attack, go adamant. We can go adamant with the set. And then we have 100 left over. There's a couple solid ones we can boost in front of, like the Bronzong. Especially with the air balloon, with the Bronzong, we can boost in front of the Komala probably pretty freely. We can boost in front of... Can't boost in front of Talonflame, potential Will-O-Wisp. Boost in front of Quillfish. Can't really touch us. Can't boost in front of Sableye. We actually have to make sure that thing's gone. We could boost in front of Oranguru, possibly. We can boost in front of Clodsire if we still have our air balloon, which would be great. We can actually also boost in front of Pawmot if we wanted to, possibly. We cannot boost in front of Iron Bundle, I don't think. We're going to mostly probably boost in front of a physical attacker. And I've learned from prepping for raids and stuff that sometimes throwing, it's a difference of like 2 or 3%, but sometimes just throwing more points just into the defensive stat you need is better than throwing into HP. So I think in this case, we're better setting ourselves up to set up in front of like Pawmot, Bronzong, Flapple, whatever. Set up in front of any one of these dozens of physical attackers that are not a problem for us. We can set up in front of them pretty easily, especially with our air balloon up and having filter. Yeah. Alright, cool. There's our set. Perfect. Built live and in person in 5 seconds. We have the Iron Head, Poison Jab, Thief, and Shift Gear. Shift Gear, +2 speed, +1 attack. This makes our Rev of Room a humongous threat. We have the Iron Head, Poison Jab, and Thief, actually. Iron Head, Poison Jab, just good. Dual stab. Hits everything on the team really, really solidly. Potential for flinches on the Iron Head, potential for poisons off Poison Jab, you know, all the fun stuff. We take those. And then we have Thief. The biggest problem for this set against this team is the Bronzong, obviously. Bronzong just kind of would hard wall our dual stabs and does it. And like normally, if I'm up against a steel type, I could run something like Bulldoze or something on this set to try to cover for that problem. Unfortunately, Bronzong potentially having Levitate kind of ruins that. So Thief is my best bet, because one, not only is it giving me super effective damage, which actually, depending on the set, if it's a more Spadef Bronzong, I actually 2-KO it. It also gives me a new item to replace that with, which is really huge. So like if the Bronzong's just packing leftovers, I can just get free leftovers onto this thing. If it's packing like an Akaberry or something, potential like that, which I don't know why it would, but yeah, it's a possibility. Or it's packing some kind of type resist berry that's not Colbur. I can snatch that off of him with the Thief. You know, something along those lines. I can snatch something of use potentially off of the Bronzong, which I think will be really good for this matchup, for sure. And then last, but most certainly not least, we have Don Quixote do Flamigo, or Flamigo. I threw a Lumberry on this thing because of the Sableye. I don't expect Sableye to come, but I want to be sure just in case. Mainly just, like, I very, very clearly see in my brain, like, yo, this Mon's gonna click Will-O-Wisp on me. I don't like that. So I have the Lumberry. I would cure myself of the burn immediately, and since I'm scrappy, I can just close combat, nuke the Sableye, and be done with it. We have 160 HP, 252 attack, and 96 speed with a Jolly Nature. Why am I 264 speed? Oh, I know why. Okay. Yeah, I think that's a little better. We're gonna go with that on here, because this actually allows us to outpace the Flapple before having boosted, so that gives us a little bit of a better situation here. So that's good. Okay, I forgot about that. And that was what I originally did, but I think I might not have saved properly on Showdown. I think the Showdown crashed on my phone when I was building this initially. But yeah, Close Combat, Brave Bird, Sub, and Agility. Sub would actually be really interesting here too. Sub is also like potential Sableye situation. He tries to burn us with the Will-O-Wisp. We sub in his face. So we ER Lumberry. We get behind a sub. He can't do anything about it besides potentially like Nightshade. We just close combat him immediately, like get rid of him, and then we end off the situation with a sub in front of us. And I don't see any sound-based moves or infiltrator nonsense potentially. So that just means that this Flamigo sits behind a sub and just nukes some stuff, which I think is great. Close Combat Brave Bird hits this whole team incredibly hard. There is nothing that resists both, which is amazing. Fighting and flying coverage is so strong. I think Flamigo has a lot of potential to just kind of rip a hole through this game. He just doesn't have the switch-ins. He does not have the mons to switch into this, which is so good for me. Yeah, if we can get the agility off too while we're behind the sub, gives us a situation where we can actually deal with Palmot as well as the Iron Bundle, nuke the Iron Bundle, rip a hole through the Palmot with the Brave Bird. Any of the above we can do, which will be really good for us. So yeah, that is our Flamigo, and that is our team. Stay tuned for the battle. That'll be coming very soon. Alright guys, we are here for our match, our Week 2 battle against Anthony. We're playing a little bit late, just couldn't find good scheduling times, and you know, things happen, it is what it is. But you saw our team builder just now, let's go ahead and send the challenge over to our boy Anthony. And let's get this party rocking. Very excited about this matchup. Very excited to face off against the Iron Bundle and see what we can do. Do you see the defensive core, the Clodsire Bronzong defensive core, which I very much expected would be here. Let's see. Let's take a look at the matchup again. Iron Bundle obviously was going to be here. Palmot was obviously going to be here. That sounds about right. Talonflame, not surprised to see it. Very interested to see what he does with it. And then he does bring the Sableye, which I find very interesting. Very interesting that I see the Sableye here. Especially when I have the Gargantual that just kind of ignores everything that Sableye wants to do. I'm very intrigued by that. So I have a go-to switch in on Sableye every single time, which is great. Alright, as far as leads go, I could probably get away with leading. I think I have to lead Gargantual. The reason I'm leading Gargantual is because my stuff is lagging. The reason I'm leading Gargantual is because I feel like I can get the most out of Gargantual as a lead. If he leads with the penguin, I can immediately, like, fire back against it appropriately and also gauge what kind of damage is coming off from it. If he leads the Sableye for some reason, I can deal with it appropriately. If he leads the Talonflame, it's not a threat to me in any way, shape, or form. If he leads the Bronzong, it doesn't really do anything to me, and I can just kind of get some good chip damage off on it. The only things that create issues is if he leads with the Pawmot or the Clodsire, which we do have switch-ins for. So I'm not super stressed about that. It's also going to be interesting to try to scout out and see whether he's unaware Clodsire or if he's water-absorbed Clodsire. Looking at the matchup, I do believe that he's more likely to be unaware Clodsire in this kind of situation, I think. Yeah, I'm just going to click Sulk here. This thing doesn't do like any damage to me, and Sulk Cure damage is huge on this. So he might just set up his rocks right away. Yeah. 25%. That's so stupid. That's so stupid. Oh, that's such a stupid thing. Oh my god. My computer's lagging. Alright, Bronzong is physically defensive here, so that's good to know. My stuff is lagging out the ass, dude. Jesus. Yeah, so he's definitely like impish or relaxed nature, for sure. Okay. With that in mind, I'm kind of just Iron Defense in his face. Doesn't really matter what he does. Alright. Purifying Salt is stupid. It's such a dumb ability. Alright, let's go. Let's test the unaware waters, I suppose. Oh, he's definitely not unaware. He's 100%. Not unaware. He can't be unaware. It's literally impossible. Okay. Unaware, and he's also Spadef. So I'm going to Salt Cure here. Oh yeah, that's insane. Bronzong is gone. Let's go. Bundle comes in immediately. Bundle came in so fast. Bundle can't touch me. I kill Bundle. He missed the pump. He missed the pump. Oh. Okay. So, I mean, we get a 6-0. So that's cool. I just kind of wish we would have been able to play that out. Yeah, no, that's... Yeah, in hindsight, looking at it, right, he wasn't unaware on Clodsire, and I outsped it. So, we were going to be able to kill the Clodsire as soon as it came in next, so that was fine. We just Salt Cure the Talonflame. Talonflame can't really do anything to us. Looking at pull up Talonflame real fast. Yeah, even a defensive Talonflame gets... yeah, Talonflame just gets nuked apart by Salt Cure. So that's fine with that. And then Sableye would have to play some stalling shenanigans. But I just really wish we got to play more. And it worked out for us. Just kind of unfortunate. I don't know. I hate games that end up like that. Like, yes, the Hydro Mist sucks, but that was doing 50 to 55 max from choice specs. But I also understand at the same point, like, it's unfortunate. The Toxic and the Purifying Salt kind of followed by the Hydro Pump Miss. That is pretty tilting. That does kind of suck. So, yeah, that's our... That's the game. Yeah, so we win 6-0. Garganical gets 6 kills, which is pretty cool. Cool. I do think that there were outs in the situation. There were outs in that scenario. Yeah, so next week we are taking on... Oh boy, we are taking on Jason and the Adelaide Arbolevas. He is a fairly recent championship level threat. So, very excited to play him. And hopefully it'll be a really fun matchup. But yeah, till next time, I'm PokePrimer, signing off. Peace!